Welcome all of you for today's Krishna book reading. Let us begin with prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण केशव पाहि माम् राम राघव रक्षामाम्. Reading from Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by His Divine Grace, Vishwaguru, Abhay Charanaravinda, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Chapter 7, entitled Salvation of Trunavarta. We will continue to read from where we left yesterday. I request all of you to please hear attentively, and we will be having quiz as usual in between our reading. When Krishna grew up a little more, he began to turn himself backside up. He did not merely lie down on his back. And another function was observed by Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, Krishna's first birthday. They arranged for Krishna's birthday ceremony, which is still observed by all followers of the Vedic principles. Krishna's birthday ceremony is observed in India by all Hindus, irrespective of different sectarian views. All the cowherd men and women were invited to participate, and they arrived in jubilation. A nice band played, and the people assembled enjoyed it. All the learned Brahmanas were invited, and they chanted Vedic hymns for the good fortune of Krishna. During the chanting of the Vedic hymns and playing of the bands, Krishna was bathed by Mother Yashoda. This bathing ceremony is technically called Abhisheka. And even today, this is observed in all the temples of Vrindavan as Janmashtami Day, or the birthday anniversary of Lord Krishna. On this occasion, Mother Yashoda arranged to distribute a large quantity of grains, and first class cows decorated with golden ornaments were made ready to be given in charity to the learned, respectable Brahmanas. Yashoda took her bath and dressed herself nicely, and taking child Krishna, duly dressed and bathed, on her lap, she sat down to hear the Vedic hymns chanted by the Brahmanas. While listening to the chanting of the Vedic hymns, the child appeared to be falling asleep, and therefore Mother Yashoda very silently laid him down on the bed. Being engaged in receiving all the friends, relatives, and residents of Vrindavan on that holy occasion, she forgot to feed the child milk. He was crying, being hungry, but Mother Yashoda could not hear him cry because of the various noises. The child, however, became angry because he was hungry and his mother was not paying attention to him. So he lifted his legs and began to kick his lotus feet, just like an ordinary child. Baby Krishna had been placed underneath a hand driven cart, and while he was kicking his legs, he accidentally touched the wheel of the cart and it collapsed. Various kinds of utensils and brass and metal dishes had been piled up in the hand cart, and they all fell down with a great noise. The wheel of the cart separated from the axle, and the spokes of the wheel were all broken and scattered hither and thither. Mother Yashoda and all the gopis, as well as Maharaj Nanda and the cowherd men, were astonished as to how the cart could have collapsed by itself. All the men and women who were assembled for the holy function crowded around and began to suggest how the cart might have collapsed. No one could ascertain the cause, but some small children who were entrusted to play with baby Krishna informed the crowd that it was due to Krishna's striking his feet against the wheel. They assured the crowd that they had seen how it happened with their own eyes, and they strongly asserted the point. Some were listening to the statement of the small children, but others said, "How can you believe the statements of these children?" The cowherd men and women could not understand that the all powerful personality of Godhead was lying there as a baby and he could do anything. Both the possible and impossible were in his power. While the discussion was going on, baby Krishna cried. Without remonstration, Mother Yashoda picked the child up on her lap and called the learned Brahmanas to chant holy Vedic hymns to counteract the evil spirits. At the same time, she allowed the baby to suck her breast. If a child sucks the mother's breast nicely, it is to be understood that he is out of all danger. After this, all the stronger cowherd men put the broken cart in order, and all the scattered things were set up nicely as before. The Brahmanas thereafter began to offer oblations to the sacrificial fire with yogurt, butter, kusha grass, and water. They worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead for the good fortune of the child. The Brahmanas were the Brahmanas who were present at that time were all qualified because they were not envious. They never indulged in untruthfulness. They were never proud. They were non-violent, and they never claimed any false prestige. They were all bona fide Brahmanas, and there was no reason to think that their blessing would be useless. With firm faith in the qualified Brahmanas, Nanda Maharaj took his child on his lap and bathed him with water mixed with various herbs, while the Brahmanas chanted hymns from the Ruk, Yajus, and Sama Vedas. It is said that without being a qualified Brahmana, one should not read the mantras of the Vedas. Here is the proof that the Brahmanas were qualified with all the Brahmanical symptoms. Maharaj Nanda also had full faith in them. Therefore, they were allowed to perform the ritualistic ceremonies by chanting the Vedic mantras. There are many different varieties of sacrifices recommended for different purposes, but the mantras are all to be chanted by qualified Brahmanas. And because in this age of Kali, such qualified Brahmanas are not available, all Vedic ritualistic sacrifices are forbidden. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore recommended only one kind of sacrifice in this age, namely Sankirtana Yajna, or simply chanting the Maha Mantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. As the Brahmanas chanted the Vedic hymns and performed the ritualistic ceremonies for the second time, Nanda Maharaj again gave huge quantities of grains and many cows to them. All the cows which were given in charity were covered with nice gold embroidered garments, and their horns were bedecked with golden rings. Their hooves were covered with silver plate, and they wore garlands of flowers. He gave so many cows just for the welfare of his wonderful child, and the Brahmanas in return bestowed their heartfelt blessing. And the blessings offered by the able Brahmanas were never to be baffled. One day, shortly after this ceremony, when Mother Yashoda was patting her baby on her lap, the baby felt too heavy and being unable to carry him, she unwillingly placed him on the ground. After a while, she became engaged in household affairs. At that time, one of the servants of Kamsa, known as Trunavarta, as instructed by Kamsa, appeared there in the shape of a whirlwind. He picked the child up on his shoulders and raised a great dust storm all over Vrindavan. Because of this, everyone's eyes became covered within a few moments, and the whole area of Vrindavan became densely dark so that no one could see himself or anyone else. During this great catastrophe, Mother Yashoda could not see her baby, who was taken away by the whirlwind, and she began to cry very piteously. She fell down on the ground exactly like a cow who has just lost her calf. When Mother Yashoda was so piteously crying, all the cowherd women immediately came and began to look for the baby, but they were disappointed and could not find him. The Trunavarta demon, who took baby Krishna on his shoulder, went high in the sky, but the baby assumed such a weight that suddenly he could not go any further and he had to stop his whirlwind activities. Baby Krishna made himself heavy and began to weigh down the demon. The Lord caught hold of his neck. Trunavarta felt the baby to be as heavy as a big mountain, and he tried to get out of his clutches, but he was unable to do so, and his eyes popped out from their sockets. Crying very fiercely, he fell down to the ground of Vrindavan and died. The demon fell exactly like Tripurasura, who was pierced by the arrow of Lord Shiva. He hit the stone ground and his limbs were smashed. His body became visible to all the inhabitants of Vrindavan. When the gopis saw the demon killed and child Krishna very happily playing on his body, they immediately picked Krishna up with great affection. The cowherd men and women became very happy to get back their beloved child Krishna. At that time, they began to talk about how wonderful it was that the demon took away the child to devour him but could not do so. Instead, he fell down dead. Some of them supported the situation. This is proper because those who are too sinful die from their sinful reactions. This is proper because those who are too sinful die from their sinful reactions, and child Krishna is pious. Therefore, he is saved from all kinds of fearful situations. And we too must have performed great sacrifices in our previous lives, worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, giving great wealth in charity, and acting philanthropically for the general welfare of men. Because of such pious activities, the child is saved from all danger. The gopis assembled there spoke among themselves. What sort of austerities and penances we must have undergone in our previous lives? We must have worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead, offered different kinds of sacrifices, made charities, and performed many welfare activities for the public, such as growing banyan trees and excavating wells. As a result of these pious activities, we have got back our child, even though he was supposed to be dead. Now he has come back to enliven his relatives. After observing such wonderful happenings, Nanda Maharaj began to think of the words of Vasudeva again and again. After this incident, when Yashoda once was nursing her child and patting him with great affection, there streamed a profuse supply of milk from her breast. And when she opened the mouth of the child with her fingers, she suddenly saw the universal manifestation within his mouth. She saw within the mouth of Krishna the whole sky, including the luminaries, stars in all directions, the sun, moon, fire, air, seas. islands, mountains, rivers, forests, and all other movable and immovable entities. Upon seeing this, Mother Yashoda's heart began to throb, and she murmured within herself, "How wonderful this is!" She could not express anything but simply closed her eyes. She was absorbed in wonderful thoughts. Krishna's showing the universal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even when lying down on the lap of his mother, proves that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whether he is manifested as a child on the lap of his mother or as a charioteer on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The concoction of the impersonalist that one can become God by meditation or by some artificial material activities is herewith declared false. God is always God in any condition or status, and the living entities are always the parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. They can never be equal to the inconceivable supernatural power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the seventh chapter of Krishna, Salvation of Trunavarta. Okay, it was a short chapter, a very beautiful uh, narration by Srila Prabhupada about how Krishna killed Shakatasura, the demon who was hiding in the hand cart, and how Krishna killed Trunavarta, the whirlwind demon, and also how Krishna showed his universal form within his mouth to Mother Yashoda. Okay, now let us have a short quiz based on what we have read. The first question, yes. What charity was given by Nanda Maharaj during the first birthday anniversary celebrations of Lord Krishna? What charity was given? Who can answer? Please raise your hand. Hare Krishna. Are you all there? Yes, Rohan, can you please attempt?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna. What was the charity given?
Cows, Prabhu. Cows were given and their horns were bedecked with silver.
Mhm. That's all? Okay, good. So, cows, well decorated cows, though their horns were uh, gold plated, their hooves were silver plated, they were covered with silk garments, and along with the cows, Nanda Maharaj also gave various kinds of grains in charity to the Brahmanas. So these were the uh, charity given by Nanda Maharaj to observe the birthday ceremony of Lord Krishna. Okay, the next question. It is said that all the Brahmanas who were present there, they were all very well qualified. They were bona fide Brahmanas, and that is why their blessings would not go in vain. What are the qualities of a bona fide Brahmana? Who can answer? What are the qualities of a bona fide Brahmana? Yes, the answer is they were always truthful, they were not envious, and they were never proud, they were non-violent, and they never claimed false prestige. And over and above all this, they were all devotees of the Supreme Lord, and these are the qualifications of a bona fide Brahmana. So all the Brahmanas who were present there during that time, they were qualified, therefore they were allowed to chant the Vedic mantras, and they also blessed baby Krishna. In this Kali Yuga, why is why are the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies or sacrifices forbidden? Who can answer? Why Vedic ritualistic ceremonies are forbidden in this Kali Yuga? Yes, Damodar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. In this age of Kali, Harinam Smarana is the main Prabhu.
Correct, but why Vedic ceremonies, sacrifices are forbidden in Kali Yuga?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I answer?
Yeah.
Because the Brahmanas are not that qualified in the Kali Yuga, Prabhu. So
Yes.
even if they perform any Vedic rites or anything, it will not be because they are not qualified Brahmanas. So there will not be any
Yes.
power in that. So this is the Yuga Dharma is Nama Sankirtan.
Yes. Very nice. Right answer. So in Kali Yuga, we don't have qualified Brahmanas because qualified Brahmanas means we just now saw the list of qualities that a bona fide Brahmana must possess. So we do not have such qualified Brahmanas. Therefore, they are not qualified to chant the Vedic mantras, and whatever Vedic sacrifices they perform will not be effective. Therefore, the scriptures forbid the performance of Vedic ritualistic sacrifices in Kali Yuga, and instead, the scriptures recommend the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Okay, the next question. So, what was the name of the demon who was hidden in the hand cart, who was killed by Krishna just by one kick? Yes, Sahitya.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
So the demon was known as Trinavarta.
Yes, yes, that's the
Comes
right
from
answer. No, no, no. Trinavarta is not the right answer.
oh
I'm talking about the demon who was hiding in the hand cart, who was killed by Krishna just by one kick by his feet, by his foot. What is the name of that demon? Who else can attempt?
Yes, Prabhu. Shakatasura.
Yes, Shakatasura is the right answer. Shakata in Sanskrit means vehicle or a cart, hand driven cart. So, since the demon was hiding in the hand driven cart, he is known as Shakatasura. Okay, the next question. So, when Trunavarta, who came in the form of a whirlwind, he took away baby Krishna and flew in the sky, high in the sky, Mother Yashoda fell down on the ground. So, there is an analogy to explain how Mother Yashoda fell on the ground. Who can answer? What is that analogy? Yes, Damodar Prabhu.
It is a cow Prabhu who lost his calf.
Yeah, yes. Mother Yashoda fell on the ground just like a cow who has just lost her calf. That shows how much affection Mother Yashoda had for her baby Krishna. Okay, the next question. So, when Trunavarta took Krishna high in the sky, Krishna started increasing his weight. He started increasing his weight. And this is one of the yogic siddhis called as Garima. So he became very, very heavy. So, and then Trunavarta could not hold the baby's weight. So he started falling down. So, and then it is also said, he fell on the ground of Vrindavan and he died. What is the analogy given here to show how Trunavarta fell on the ground? Yes. Who can answer? Please unmute yourself.
can I answer Prabhu?
Yes, yes.
So the demon fell like Tripurasura, who was pierced by the arrow of Lord Shiva.
Yes, yes, that's a very right answer. So there was a demon called Tripurasura. He had taken, he had got lot of powers from Lord Shiva by performing tapasya, and he had. There were three brothers actually. They were. The description of this is there in the Bhagavatam. I think in the seventh canto. And finally, Lord Shiva had to kill Tripurasura with an arrow, but that arrow was empowered by the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So the Supreme Lord Vishnu, that arrow, uh, with that arrow, Lord Shiva killed, pierced Tripurasura, and he fell on the ground. In the same way, this Trinavarta also fell down on the ground. So, a very important thing to note is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur compares each of the demons killed by Krishna to various anarthas that are present in a conditioned soul. Shakatasura is compared to the heavy load of past habits. Just by Krishna's one kick, all these habits can be destroyed. And Trunavarta is compared to pride. When we become proud, we think we are so, we can fly high in the sky. But pride goes before a fall. So Trunavarta had to come down because of the weight of Krishna. So these two demons are teaching us when we are actually studying these pastimes of Krishna killing the demons, we should also appeal to Krishna. My dear Lord, I have these anarthas. Just like you expertly killed those demons, kindly descend in my tongue when I chant your holy name, and descend in my heart and kill all these demoniac anarthas, which are obstacles for my progress towards your service. So we should pray to Krishna in this way. Okay, now let us continue to read the book. We will be reading the next chapter, chapter 8, entitled Vision of the Universal Form. So actually, Krishna showed universal form to Mother Yashoda twice. One we saw in the beginning of this chapter, previous chapter, when she was attempting to open baby Krishna's mouth to feed him her breast milk. That time, Yashoda saw the universal form. There's another occasion, we will see that in this chapter, where Krishna showed his universal form within his mouth to Mother Yashoda. Chapter 8, Vision of the Universal Form. After this incident, Vasudeva asked his family priest Gargamuni to visit the place of Nanda Maharaj in order to astrologically calculate the future life of Krishna. Gargamuni was a great saintly sage who underwent many austerities and penances and was appointed priest of the Yadu dynasty. When Gargamuni arrived at the home of Nanda Maharaj was very pleased to see him and immediately stood up with folded hands and offered his respectful obeisances. He received Gargamuni with the feeling of one who is worshipping God or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He offered him a nice sitting place, and when he sat down, Nanda Maharaj offered him a warm reception. Addressing him very politely, he said, "My dear Brahmana, your appearance in a householder's place is only to enlighten. We are always engaged in household duties and are forgetting our real duty of self realization. Your coming to our house is to give us some enlightenment about spiritual life. You have no other purpose to visit householders. Actually, a saintly person or a Brahmana has no business visiting householders who are always busy in the matter of dollars and cents. If it is asked, why don't the householders go to a saintly person or a Brahmana for enlightenment? The answer is that householders are very poor hearted. Generally, householders think that their engagement in family affairs is their prime duty and that self realization or enlightenment in spiritual knowledge is secondary. Out of compassion only, saintly persons and brahmanas go to the householders' homes. Nanda Maharaj addressed Gargamuni as one of the great authorities in astrological science. The foretellings of astrological signs, such as the occurrence of solar or lunar eclipses, are wonderful calculations, and by this particular science, a person can understand the future very clearly. Gargamuni was proficient in this knowledge. By his knowledge, by this knowledge, one can understand what his previous activities were, and by the result of such activities, one may enjoy or suffer in this life. Nanda Maharaj also addressed Gargamuni as the best of the Brahmanas. A Brahmana is one who is expert in the knowledge of the Supreme. Without knowledge of the Supreme Absolute, one cannot be recognized as a Brahmana. The exact word used in this connection is Brahmavidam, which means those who know the Supreme very well. An expert Brahmana is able to give reformatory facilities to the subcastes, namely the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. The Shudras observe no reformatory performances. The Brahmana is considered to be the spiritual master or priest for the Kshatriya and Vaishya. Nanda Maharaj happened to be a Vaishya and he accepted Gargamuni as a first class Brahmana. He therefore offered his two foster sons, namely Krishna and Balaram, to him to purify. He agreed that not only these boys, but all human beings just after birth should accept a qualified Brahmana as spiritual master. Upon this request, Gargamuni replied, Vasudeva has sent me to see to the reformatory performances of these boys, especially Krishna's. I am their family priest, and incidentally, it appears to me that Krishna is the son of Devaki. By his astrological calculation, Gargamuni could understand that Krishna was the son of Devaki, but that he was being kept under the care of Nanda Maharaj, which Nanda did not know. Indirectly, he said that Krishna as well as Balaram were both sons of Vasudeva. Balaram was known as the son of Vasudeva because his mother Rohini was present there, but Nanda Maharaj did not know about Krishna. Gargamuni indirectly disclosed the fact that Krishna was the son of Devaki. Gargamuni also warned Nanda Maharaj that if he would perform the reformatory ceremony, then Kamsa, who was naturally very sinful, would understand that Krishna was the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. According to astrological calculation, Devaki could not have a female child, although everyone thought that the eighth child of Devaki was female. In, in this way, Gargamuni intimated to Nanda Maharaj that the female child was born of Yashoda and that Krishna was born of Devaki and they were exchanged. The female child, or Durga, also informed Kamsa that the child who would kill him was already born somewhere else. Gargamuni stated, If I give your child a name, and if he fulfills the prophecy of the female child to Kamsa, then it might be that the sinful demon will come and kill this child also after the name giving ceremony. But I do not want to become responsible for all these future calamities. On hearing the words of Gargamuni, Nanda Maharaj said, If there is such danger, then it is better not to plan any gorgeous name giving ceremony. It would be better for you to simply chant the Vedic hymns and perform the purificatory process. We belong to the twice born caste, and I am taking this opportunity of your presence. So please perform the name giving ceremony without external pomp. Nanda Maharaj wanted to keep the name giving ceremony a secret and yet take advantage of Gargamuni's performing the ceremony. When Gargamuni was so eagerly requested by Nanda Maharaj, he performed the name giving ceremony as secretly as possible in the cowshed of Nanda Maharaj. He informed Nanda Maharaj that Balaram, the son of Rohini, would be very pleasing to his family members and relatives and therefore would be called Rama. In the future, he would be extraordinarily strong and therefore would be called Balarama. Gargamuni said further, because your family and the family of Yadus are so intimately connected and attracted, therefore his name will also be Sankarshana. This means that Gargamuni awarded three names to the son of Rohini, namely Balaram, Sankarshana, and Baladeva. But he carefully did not disclose the fact that Balaram also appeared in the womb of Devaki and was subsequently transferred to the womb of Rohini. Krishna and Balaram are real brothers, being originally sons of Devaki. Gargamuni then informed Nanda Maharaj, as far as the other boy is concerned, this child has taken different bodily complexions in different yugas or millennia. First of all, he assumed the color white, then he assumed the color red, then the color yellow, and now he has assumed the color black. Besides that, he was formerly the son of Vasudeva, therefore his name should be Vasudeva as well as Krishna. Some people will call him Krishna and some will call him Vasudeva. But one thing you must know, this son has had many other names and activities due to his different pastimes. Gargamuni gave Nanda Maharaj a further hint that his son will also be called Giridhari because of his uncommon pastimes of lifting Govardhana hill. Since he could understand everything past and future, he said, I know everything about his activities and name, but others do not know. This child will be very pleasing to all the cowherd men and cows. Being very popular in Vrindavan, he will be the cause of all good fortune for you. Because of his presence, you will overcome all kinds of material calamities despite opposing elements. Gargamuni continued to say, my dear king of Vraja, in his previous births, this child many times protected righteous persons from the hands of rogues and thieves whenever there was political disruption. Your child is so powerful that anyone who will become a devotee of your boy will never be troubled by enemies. Just as demigods are always protected by Lord Vishnu, so the devotees of your child will always be protected by Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The child will grow in power, beauty, opulence, in everything on the level of Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, I would advise that you protect him very carefully so that he may grow without disturbance. Gargamuni further informed Nanda Maharaj that because he was a great devotee of Narayana, Lord Narayana gave a son who is equal to him. At the same time, he indicated, your son will be disturbed by so many demons, so be careful and protect him. In this way, Gargamuni convinced Nanda Maharaj that Narayana himself had become his son. After giving this information, Gargamuni returned to his home. Nanda Maharaj began to think of himself as the most fortunate person, and he was very satisfied to be benedicted in this way. A short time after this incident, both Balaram and Krishna began to crawl on their hands and knees. When they were crawling like that, they pleased their mothers. The bells tied to their waist and ankles sounded fascinating, and they would move around very pleasingly. Sometimes, just like ordinary children, they would be frightened by others and would immediately hurry to their mothers for protection. Sometimes they would fall into the clay and mud of Vrindavan and would approach their mothers smeared with clay and saffron. They were actually smeared with saffron and sandalwood pulp by their mothers, but due to crawling over muddy clay, they would simultaneously smear their bodies with clay. As soon as they would come crawling to their mothers, Yashoda and Rohini would take them on their laps and, covering the lower portion of their saris, allow them to suck their breasts. When the babies were sucking their breasts, the mothers would see small teeth coming in. Thus, their joy would be intensified to see their children grow. Sometimes the naughty babies would crawl up to the cowshed, catch the tail of a calf, and stand up. The calves, being disturbed, would immediately begin running here and there, and the children would be dragged over clay and cow dung. To see this fun, Yashoda and Rohini would call all their neighboring friends, the gopis. Upon seeing these childhood pastimes of Lord Krishna, the gopis would be merged in transcendental bliss. In their enjoyment, they would laugh very loudly. Both Krishna and Balaram were so restless that their mothers Yashoda and Rohini would try to protect them from cows, bulls, monkeys, water, fire, and birds while they were executing their household duties. Always being anxious to protect the children and to execute their duties, they were not very tranquil. In a very short time, both Krishna and Balaram began to stand up and slightly move on their legs. When Krishna and Balaram began to walk, other friends of the same age joined them, and together they began to give the highest transcendental pleasure to the gopis, specifically to Mother Yashoda and Rohini. All the gopi friends of Yashoda and Rohini enjoyed the naughty childish activities of Krishna and Balaram in Vrindavan. In order to enjoy further transcendental bliss, they all assembled and went to Mother Yashoda to lodge complaints against the restless boys. When Krishna was sitting before Mother Yashoda, all the elderly gopis began to lodge complaints against him so that Krishna could hear. They said, "Dear Yashoda, why don't you restrict your naughty Krishna? He comes to our houses along with Balaram every morning and evening, and before the milking of the cows, they let loose the calves, and the calves drink all the milk of the cows. So when we go to milk the cows, we find no milk and we have to return with empty pots. If we warn Krishna and Balaram about doing this, they simply smile charmingly. We cannot do anything. Also, your Krishna and Balaram find great pleasure in stealing our stock of yogurt and butter from wherever we keep it. When Krishna and Balaram are caught stealing the yogurt and butter, they say, "Why do you charge us with stealing? Do you think that butter and yogurt are in scarcity in our house?" Sometimes they steal butter, yogurt, and milk and distribute them to the monkeys. When the monkeys are well fed and do not take any more, then your boys hide. This milk and butter and yogurt are useless. Even the monkeys won't take it. And they break the pots and throw them hither and thither. If we keep our stock of yogurt, butter, and milk in a solitary dark place, your Krishna and Balaram find it in the darkness by the glaring effulgence of the ornaments and jewels on their bodies. If by chance they cannot find the hidden butter and yogurt, they go to our little babies and pinch their bodies so that they cry and then they go away. If we keep our stock of butter and yogurt high on the ceiling, hanging on a swing, although it is beyond their reach, they arrange to reach it by piling all kinds of wooden crates over the grinding mortar. And if they cannot reach, they make a hole in the pot. We think, therefore, that you better take all the jeweled ornaments from the bodies of your children. On hearing this, Yashoda would say, "All right, I will take all the jewels from Krishna so that he cannot see the butter hidden in the darkness." Then the gopis would say, "No, no, don't do this. What good will you do by taking away the jewels? We do not know what kind of boys these are, but even without ornaments, they spread some kind of effulgence. so that even in darkness they can see everything. Then Mother Yashoda would inform them, all right, keep your butter and yogurt carefully so that they may not reach it. In reply to this, the gopis said, yes, actually we do so. But because we are sometimes engaged in our household duties, these naughty boys enter our house somehow or other and spoil everything. Sometimes, being unable to steal our butter and yogurt, out of anger, they pass urine on the clean floor and sometimes spit on it. Just see your boy now. He is hearing this complaint. All day they simply make all day they simply make arrangements to steal our butter and yogurt, and now they are sitting just like very silent, good boys. Just see his face. When Mother Yashoda thought to chastise her boy after hearing all the complaints, she saw his pitiable face, and smiling, she did not chastise him. Another day, when Krishna and Balaram were playing with their friends, all the boys joined Balaram and told Mother Yashoda that Krishna had eaten clay. On hearing this, Mother Yashoda caught hold of Krishna's hand and said, my dear Krishna, why have you eaten earth in a solitary place? Just see, all your friends, including Balaram, are complaining about you. Being afraid of his mother, Krishna replied, my dear mother, all these boys, including my elder brother Balaram, are speaking lies against me. I have never eaten clay. My elder brother Balaram, while playing with me today, became angry and therefore he has joined with the other boys to complain against me. They have all combined together to complain. So you will be angry and chastise me. If you think they are truthful, then you can look within my mouth to see whether I have taken clay or not. His mother replied, all right, if you have actually not taken any clay, then just open your mouth. I shall see. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna was so ordered by his mother, he immediately opened his mouth just like an ordinary boy. Then Mother Yashoda saw within that mouth the complete opulence of creation. She saw the entire outer space in all directions, mountains, islands, oceans, seas, planets, air, fire, moon, and stars. Along with the moon and the stars, she also saw the entire elements, water, sky, the extensive ethereal existence, along with the total ego and the products of the senses and the controller of the senses, all the demigods, the objects of the senses like sound, smell, etc., and the three qualities of material nature. She also could perceive that within his mouth were all living entities, eternal time, material nature, spiritual nature, activity, consciousness, and different forms of the whole creation. Yashoda could find within the mouth of her child everything necessary for cosmic manifestation. She also saw within his mouth herself taking Krishna on her lap and having him suck her breast. Upon seeing all this, she became struck with awe and began to wonder whether she was dreaming or actually seeing something extraordinary. She concluded that she was either dreaming or seeing the play of the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She thought that she had become mad, mentally deranged, to see all those wonderful things. Then she thought, it might be cosmic mystic power attained by my child, and therefore I am perplexed by such visions within his mouth. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, under whose energy bodily self and bodily possessions are conceived. She then said, let me offer my respectful obeisances unto him, under whose illusory energy I am thinking that Nanda Maharaj is my husband and Krishna is my son, that all the properties of Nanda Maharaj belong to me, and that all the cowherd men and women are my subjects. All this misconception is due to the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. So let me pray to him that he may protect me always. While Mother Yashoda was thinking in this high philosophical way, Lord Krishna again expanded his internal energy just to bewilder her with maternal affection. Immediately, Mother Yashoda forgot all philosophical speculation and accepted Krishna as her own child. She took him on her lap and became overwhelmed with material affection. Sorry. She took him on her lap and became overwhelmed with maternal affection. She thus began to think Krishna is not understandable to the masses through the gross process of knowledge, but he can be received through the Upanishads and the Vedanta or mystic yoga system and Sankhya philosophy. Then she began to think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as her own begotten child. Certainly, Mother Yashoda had executed many, many pious activities, as a result of which she got the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as her son, who sucked milk from her breast. Similarly, Nanda Maharaj also must have performed many great sacrifices and pious activities for Lord Krishna to become his son and address him as father. But it is surprising that Vasudeva and Devaki did not enjoy the transcendental bliss of Krishna's childhood pastimes, although Krishna was their real son. The childhood pastimes of Krishna are glorified even today by many sages and saintly persons, but Vasudeva and Devaki could not enjoy such childhood pastimes personally. The reason for this was explained by Shukadev Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit as follows. When the best of the Vasus of the name Drona, along with his wife Dhara, were ordered to increase progeny by Lord Brahma, they said unto him, Dear father, we are seeking your benediction. Drona and Dhara then took benediction from Brahma that in the future, when they would take birth again within the universe, the Supreme Lord Krishna, in his most attractive feature of childhood, would absorb their whole attention. Their dealings with Krishna would be so powerful that simply by hearing of Krishna's childhood activities with them, anyone could very easily cross over the nescience of birth and death. Lord Brahma agreed to give them the benediction, and as a result, the same Drona appeared as Nanda Maharaj in Vrindavan, and the same Dhara appeared as Mother Yashoda, the wife of Nanda Maharaj. In this way, Nanda Maharaj and his wife, Mother Yashoda, developed their unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, having gotten him as their son. And all the gopis and cowherd men who were associates of Krishna naturally developed their own different feelings of love for Krishna. Therefore, just to fulfill the benediction of Lord Brahma, Lord Krishna appeared along with his plenary expansion Balaram and performed all kinds of childhood pastimes in order to increase the transcendental pleasure of all residents of Vrindavan. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the 8th chapter of Krishna, Vision of the Universal Form. So let's quickly recollect some important points from this chapter. So, the first question, why did the cowherd women, the gopis, ask Yashoda to remove all the jeweled ornaments from the bodies of Krishna and Balaram? Please raise your hand. Yes, Vikas.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So the uh, citizens of they said that by the effulgence that comes out from the jewels that Lord Krishna and Balram wears, so they were able to
Yeah.
see in darkness where the uh, milk and
Where they are
other,
hidden.
yeah, the yogurt and everything, and they used to steal it.
Yes, that's the right answer. So the Krishna and Balaram were so expert thieves that even in the darkest place where the gopis had hidden milk curds and yogurt. They could go because of the brilliance of the ornaments coming from the brilliance coming from their ornaments. They were able to see and they were able to steal. And when Yashoda Mai said, "Okay, I will remove all the jewels from their bodies," then the same gopis said, "No, no, no, don't remove the jewels. Because even without the jewels, also, your boys are able to emanate, they're able to produce some brilliance from their body, and they're able to see even in the darkness." So actually, Krishna does not require any external source of light because Krishna is the source of the ultimate light, Brahma Jyoti. So Brahma Jyoti is the bodily effulgence coming from Krishna. Okay, the next question. Uh, Garga Muni, when he studied the astrological chart of Krishna and Balaram, specifically he told about Krishna that your son has come before also, and he has assumed different bodily colors. So, what are the different bodily colors that Krishna had assumed previously? Yes, Rohan,
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The colors were red, yellow, and white.
and currently black.
Black.
Yes. So, Shukla, Rakta, Pita, and Krishna, four colors. Of course, they may not be in the order. So, Shukla refers to the Shweta Varaha who appeared in the Satya Yuga, and Rakta also is another color uh, depicted. Sometimes we see in the Varaha form also, Rakta Varna, the reddish color. And Pita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu it is actually. Pita Varna means yellowish golden complexion, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's bodily complexion. And Krishna is Krishna himself. He had a bluish black complexion. Okay, uh, next question. I think two more questions we will have, and then we'll close the session. Yes. So, uh, let us see what question to ask. Okay. When, in spite of trying so much, when Krishna and Balaram would not be able to reach the pots of butter which were tied too high in the ceiling, they would actually arrange wooden crates one above the other on the grinding machine, and they would try to reach the high uh, pots. When this, if they could not reach, what they would do? What would they do? In spite of all these attempts, if they could not reach? Yes, Krishna Chandra.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
They
Krishna.
try to make hole on the pot.
Yeah, they would break the pot. They
Yeah.
would create hole in the pot. That's the right answer. And that means they were so naughty, mischievous. Actually, it is said the gopis were actually enjoying when Krishna and Balaram would come to steal their butter. Even while they were preparing butter, they would keep Krishna in their mind while preparing butter. They wanted actually Krishna should come and steal their butter. In fact, when Krishna would not come on a particular day, they would become very upset. But externally, they would show anger while they would go and complain to Mother Yashoda about the activities of Krishna and Balaram. But internally, they were actually enjoying when Krishna would come and steal butter from their houses. So these are all different loving dealings between Krishna and his devotees, especially the residents of Vrindavan Dham. What were the names of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda in their past lives? And what was their desire, which was fulfilled by Lord Brahma's benediction? Yes, Sahitya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Uh, Nanda Maharaj appeared as Drona in his past life, and Yashoda Mata appeared as Dhara in her past life. So their dealings were, their desire was they prayed for Brahma that simply by hearing the childhood activities, anyone can pass the cycle of birth and death.
Okay. So your answer is partially right. Yes, Nanda Maharaj was a Vasu in his past life. Vasu is a category of devatas, and his name was Drona, and his wife was Dhara, who later appeared as Yashoda Mai. So their desire was that they wanted to witness the childhood pastimes of Krishna when Krishna would appear on this in this universe. So and their desire was not only they should be able to witness the childhood pastimes of Krishna, but by hearing these childhood pastimes of Krishna in the future, anybody who would hear them also can become liberated. That was their desire, and Lord Brahma benedicted them, fulfilled this particular desire of Drona and Dhara, and that is why, that is the reason Srila Prabhupada explains that even though Krishna appeared as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva, they were not able to witness the childhood pastimes of Krishna. Instead, Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda were awarded the childhood pastimes of Krishna by the Lord. So these are wonderful, amazing how the Lord fulfills everybody's desires, and these pastimes in the Krishna book. Prabhupada said every night before going to bed, you must read Krishna book and meditate on Krishna, his wonderful activities. Just by studying this one book, Krishna, Prabhupada said, you can attain pure love of Krishna. So we are trying to study this book every day to prepare ourselves for Janmashtami. So request you to please join me every day. On weekdays, we have every day at 8 p.m. Thank you for joining. We shall meet again in the next session. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, ki jai.
Jai.
Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
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 Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.